Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're joined at Where's My Sports At by Daniel and Matt from Card Crazy down near New Plymouth. And we're really happy to have them along today. We've been wanting to interview them for a while because myself and Southey, we are hooked on card breaks and
Big
we're
time.
hooked on basketball cards. Have been since I've been 8 years old. Phil, I think, how old were you when you got into it, bud?
Pretty much the same. I had a big gap between preteen and 30 something, but I've been a big fan, my whole life essentially.
So Daniel and Matt, welcome along, lads.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
So we're going to run through some questions today with you guys, and hopefully they're not too many personal questions in there, like asking for like PIN numbers and things like that. We'll try to avoid that. We do get into that detail sometimes, but we won't today. So the first one there for you lads, how did you both get into collecting firstly?
Well, I always collected when I was a kid, sort of around 8, picked up collecting, and the job I was doing at the time, which we still do now, still an arm of our company, is the stamp collecting. And we're bringing in a lot of PayPal money via selling stamps overseas. And instead of bringing it back and getting, pretty average return on the exchange rate and all the bank fees, etc., I was using it to buy trading cards, which is my passion and what I liked. So I was bringing them back and then selling them on Trade Me, and that's how it started. That's how it built to what it is now. Via a few steps.
I mean, I was the same as Phil was saying. Like I used to buy the odd packs from Kmart back down in Wellington when I was down there, and with rugby league stickers and whatnot. And then had that massive gap. Like stopped it. Like early teens, and I got back into it from a Trade Me ad for a $4.95 pack of hoops, and I saw that it said local pickup in New Plymouth. I'm like, what the hell? I'm pretty sure there's no card shops around New Plymouth. And so I put the address in, some weird ass looking shop came up, and that was like their building, Philip Distributors, and went in there, picked up my $4.95 pack, and I've been hooked again since.
What possessed you to buy that pack?
I can't remember. I was just on Trade Me, just searching shit up as you do.
Was it the 94.95? Was it the 94.95 hoops with the little triangle in the corner?
No. It was the new release one. So this was 2015, 16, I think, 2016, 17 sets.
Yeah.
And it's like from there it just kicked off again, and I'm thousands deep.
Yeah.
So good. No, I used to remember going into town and into the local dairy with the card machine, $2 coin, put it in and pump it out, and then out came a little pack of cards. It'd be gold if those came back.
If I could find it, I would buy it.
Yeah.
Nostalgic reasons.
Yes, well, it'd be pretty neat because you
I
can
mean,
still
it
get
dumps the card onto the bottom of the card machine, which nowadays would make everyone sick.
Thing.
They're all ding corners, but hey, it's the nostalgia, right?
Well, exactly. No, exactly. I mean, so the next sort of question, not terribly interested in the specifics of how you became a stockist and how you hooked up with Fanatics and Panini, but just in terms of that process, was it drawn out? Was it difficult? And like, do you just approach them and they sort of say, yeah, there's a market in New Zealand for that, we're keen? How did that sort of look?
Yeah, so that was back in, I'm buying and selling cards back in 12, 13, and it was in 13 I wanted to sort of take it to the next level. So I was talking to Grayson at Cherry about whether he would supply us with a bit of stuff, a bit of the new stuff, because we never had the new releases before, and he had a Panini agency and he was getting all the new stuff, and he sort of said to me, why don't you just contact them yourself, get your own agency for New Zealand, because no one's doing it in New Zealand, so why don't you do it yourself? And he gave me the contact details, which were in Italy, in Modena back in those days. That was before it all switched to Panini America. You used to deal directly with Italy, so if a new release came out, I'd email Italy and it would all be sorted there and it would ship from America. But so That was a little bit drawn out. You sort of had to prove a few things, like you had a retail shop, like you could buy a significant amount of stock, like you would buy all the releases. I mean, that's something a lot of people don't understand, is like, why do you get this one? It's not as good as that one. Why don't you just get that one? Well, you got to buy everything. And you don't get to decide how much you can buy either, because people will also say, why don't you get more national treasures? You're out of stock already. You should have got more. But you can just get as many as they let you have. So jumping on board with them was, time consuming, but they were pretty, they seemed happy to have us, which was pretty cool. So different climate, of course. Back in those days, I couldn't sell a lot of what I was buying, so I would buy it myself. But yeah, that's our boss in the background there.
Hello. G'day, mate.
No, mate. Hey.
Sorry, mate.
It's Chris.
All good.
I,
Good. Thanks
I
for
know
having us.
nothing about cards, but
It's got the hat
I love it.
though.
Yeah. Good, man.
So that's basically it with Panini, and yeah, it was back in a time where they were really excited to have us on board, and well, that's the way they made us feel anyway, and we got on well with them, and sort of tried to sell this stuff as best we could, which was difficult.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. No, appreciate that.
And
Yeah, no,
Fanatics was pretty much the same. I'm just trying to think whether we went to the States to get on board with them or whether we did that before we left. I can't remember, but again, they were really excited to work with us. We've got a great range of their stuff in the cabinet behind this camera, and yeah, we love their products. Having that physical, autographed item is pretty cool, whether it's a jersey or a hat or a bat or a ball or a full-size helmet like we've got down there.
No, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I've
No,
seen
100% agree.
Yeah, I've seen some of your kit that you've got from Fanatics, and wow,
Yeah,
there's some
stunning
very
stuff.
very cool stuff.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite products is a blind packed NFL helmet. So you don't know what's in the box. I can't see one, but you don't know what helmet's in the box until you open the box. You pull it out as an autographed helmet of someone, whether it's Tom Brady or someone terrible like Jalen Hurts. You don't know until you open the box.
Yes. Scrutiny. Down Boo Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're ending this.
We'll push this one out of here, eh?
Yeah. Brotherly shove.
So what's it been like owning your own store, that like and coming along with this new wave of collectibles? How have you found it?
Do you want to talk to that, Chris? I mean, because we don't own the store; it's Chris's store.
we've never really been in high street retail before, so it was kind of a big change for us. But and it wasn't our intention to necessarily open a store. It's just that we've got a decent sized warehouse, and we thought maybe we could build a little counter and some nice glass cabinets there. And Daniel sent me down here, said this is a jeweler's store, it's closing. Go down here and buy the display cases and bring them back, and we'll set up a little shop and must, give a little bit more kind of depth and visual optics to what we're doing. So I came in here, and one thing, I started talking to the jeweler who was closing up after Lifetime, and I did kind of know him, and he's a good fellow, and one thing led to another, and he walked out and we walked in.
That was great.
You could particularly see that this was real high-end retail. It was high-end jeweler retail, everything bright and shiny, top security, top channels and fittings, and glass and lights, and we could see straight away all our stuff would just transfer in here. Fit out cost us. We did it in. He was out, we were in, and it took us, about 8 hours to put all our stuff in here. And we were ready to roll. It was fantastic.
Can I spin it around?
Thrifty.
Yeah, it looks incredible, eh? Like
Well,
I've gone online and had a couple looks, and I'm just like, this is awesome. Like,
but you can
if
definitely
my
see it.
8-year-old self could see it now.
Yeah, you can definitely see it's an old jewelry store, eh? It's perfect
Yeah.
for what we're doing.
Yeah, the top lit and backlit that really sort of emphasizes that product that's in the shelves and in the cabinets.
Yep.
It's
all we got
awesome.
the light
Perfect.
And of course,
Yeah.
it came with the security that we needed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say when you showed us that roller door, I'm like, yeah, okay, I suppose that makes sense. You'd have some really expensive items, but now that you say it was ex-jewellery, it makes even more sense.
Yeah.
That's the fog cannon up there.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're trying to be as safe as we can.
Yeah, much needed this day and age. Eh?
That's
So,
some baseball bats in the cabinet too.
yeah. Saldy, next question, bro.
Yeah, mate. So now, what's your favourite card that you've pulled? Sort of two-part, whether it's for yourself personally, but also for a buyer, for a fan that's bought a break.
I've got a terrible memory, so I'm hoping that can remember something more
well,
interesting.
I mean, there's lots of situations, but one of the best times pulling cards is when it's people collect like certain teams of players. So anytime you pull like a nice big card for their sort of collection is always a good feeling. But for me, I've pulled a few, like the Holy Grails in the card world are the one-of-ones, so the rookie patch autographs. And I mean, we've pulled a few of those for customers. And I mean, back in, what would have been
17,
18.
18.
The one I do remember, we pulled out, he was big at the time, it was the NFL. Mac Jones, rookie patch autograph 101. He was meant to be the next big thing for the Patriots. Of course, it hasn't quite turned out that way.
I don't know. Sorry, yeah, no,
yeah, and so like those big cards, like that's one I do remember, and because he was like one of the biggest talking points in the NFL for a time. And it's a bit harder for the NBA because there's not so much like a key piece per team. Like in NFL, a quarterback is the guy, and so like those, like that's the one I do sort of remember. But yeah, like just pulling any top card for a guy that buys the same team week in, week out, just building to their collection is always a good thing.
You know, awesome. Well, I guess sort of following on from that, this might be a bit easier. What about memorabilia, whether it was for yourself or for a fan as well? Because I can see you've got a few things sort of framed on the wall. Is that sort of card crazy? Is that for you guys to keep, or is everything in the store for sale?
Everything's for sale.
Everything's for sale.
You definitely have those things you don't want to sell, though.
Yeah.
Like this, the camera is sitting on top of a autographed Knight Rider card by David Hasselhoff, which is kind of cool. Yeah. We got a shoe, which is about this big, autographed by Shaquille O'Neal. That is actually sold, but that was one of those pieces that I didn't want to sell. I'd be quite happy if that was still here.
It's his actual shoe size 22. It's enormous. It's a real party piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the interesting, one of the interesting things that amazed me was it's basically a toy, and it's a plastic hoverboard from the last Back to the Future movie. And so it's bright pink, and it's a kind of like it doesn't do anything except sit there, and it's got the things underneath that's supposed to hover off the ground, but it doesn't do any of that stuff.
You mean it's not real?
Who would have thought?
Disappointed.
It's signed by Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and 2 others. And I said, "What? Why have you bought that?" and anyway, it was under the glass, and the interest in it is just incredible. It's just amazing. People go, "Oh, that's so cool." Whereas I go, "Oh, well, all right, is it? Okay." It really stood out. It really stood out as a
that is a cool piece.
Yeah, party piece, and something that attracted a lot of attention, and
That's very, very cool, because that was leading into my next question. Are there any cards or memorabilia that you guys can't personally part with, ones there that you've held on to from a young age or now?
I bought this for show and tell. This is the very first set of cards I ever collected. I think it's from 1988.
Oh,
yes! Yes! I used to collect them when I was a kid.
There you go.
That's so good.
And this one's signed by Kevin Eastman, one of the creators of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So
Man.
That is cool.
yeah, but you.
Nah, I mean, I wish I still had my Pokemon cards from back when I was a kid. That would have been a nice haul to hold on to. Of course, don't know where they ended up.
I wish I had the cards from when I was a kid.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they went to an op shop when Mum was moving house. They were the main movers during COVID. But I mean, I got back into it 2015-16, and my first signed memorabilia piece was a Malcolm Brogdon rookie Bucks jersey.
Nice.
And so that's, I mean, I tried to frame it at home in one of those Briscoe's frames. Didn't go too well, so I just left it in the frame. I've just hidden it out the back. But that's probably the one piece. Yeah, that was my first big purchase back then. I mean, I think it only cost like $190, but to me, like that was a lot back then. And Brogdon was my first sort of you call them PCs, like a personal collection. And so he ended up being my first PC player. And that was my first big purchase of his, so it's probably one thing I'll just like never let go of.
Yeah, no, cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, you got to love those collectibles. Like you just pocket them and
yeah,
and
that is a whole life. It's collectibles.
Yeah, and it's personal to you too, eh? That's the best thing about these collectibles is that it's what you see the value as too. Is it might be like $190. Yeah, but to you it's 1,000. It's 10,000.
Yeah.
And I always say that to people too, because they ask you, what happens if someone hits a multi-$1,000 card, a $10,000, $20,000 card, whatever? It's what do they do with that? I mean, how's it to sell? And well, it's relatively easy to sell for one. But secondly, just following on from what you said, some of them won't sell it for any amount of money in the world. I mean, this is what they've tried to get. They really want the signed Kobe or Curry or whatever it is. And they finally got one, and they got it through going into breaks or buying boxes, and they tried really hard and spent some time chasing it. They won't sell it. So that follows on from what you're saying. It doesn't matter what some of these things are worth. They're special to that person.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're worth anything, Matt, but I've still got all of my Pokemon cards from when I was a 19-year-old. I think I've got a shiny Charizard in there, but I'm not sure how well 10-year-old Phil sort of looked after it. It's not bent,
Did you chew it
I think it might be a curve in it or something like that, just from maybe from age.
Yeah. Me and my brothers, I'm pretty sure we used to throw them at each other too. So as much as I wish I had them, I'd probably look at them now and be like, nah, they weren't worth it.
No, you miss out on too much.
And a lot of the times when we're all younger, we would keep them in rubber bands. That's another thing. It's like the old rubber band bin, you get it, and it would, you'd have the curve.
Rubber band in the top drawer, just going all over the place.
If we could go back,
even to 2019.
Yeah, even like
then we wouldn't be
pre-COVID.
here. We'd all be on the beach.
So the next question there I had for you to explain to our listeners is, what are card breaks and how do they work?
Look, card break is pretty much it's just a box of it doesn't have to be a sport. Like we break like multiple sort of genres. It is predominantly sport. NBA is the number one, followed by probably NFL. But a break is pretty much just a box, and instead of buying a box outright, like most people generally only collect like a player or a team. And so we take that box value, divide it into the teams that are related to that sport, and people buy a team instead of the whole box. And then we open that box live on camera, so you don't actually know what you're going to get until the box is opened. And then so like you buy, say for NBA terms, you buy the Lakers for $50 out of a $1,000 box. You could hit the Magic Johnson autograph and walk away with that for only $50. I mean, it could be worth $300 or $400. And we do that with like multiple sports, multiple boxes, and like you're talking sort of $10 buy-ins all the way up to $2,000 per team on our top releases each year.
I always use something like this to explain it. This is a box of national treasures, and throughout the years they can range from anywhere between $6,000 to $12,000 for a box. So buying a box like this is out of the question for most people, myself included. But if you break it down into 30 different teams, then it becomes more affordable. If you're a big Celtics fan, then you just want the cards that are for the Celtics. So you buy the box, you buy the Celtics, then once all the teams are sold, so we'll go through and all the teams will be different prices based on the potential of what can come out. And once that, say, $10,000 is gathered in for the 30 teams, Matt will open that live on camera, and whatever comes out for the Celtics, say, is yours. So whether it's a $10 card or whether it's out of there, you can get $1 million cards. Yeah. If it's $1 million card, that's your card. That will be shipped to you.
Yeah.
For that buy-in fee of whatever it was to get the Celtics. So it kind of makes that product more accessible to people.
Yeah, myself and Phil, we've done a few breaks. I think we went from being break virgins, and now we're into our third or fourth. And your guys' like ease of transaction, and then the quickness of the postage as well is incredible. So, you know, like you guys are doing a great job. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing we transitioned to here. Yeah. So I'll take the credit for that. So I mean, we used to be like just a Facebook orientated break group, and then just the way we saw things going, it had to be more streamlined. And the easiest way to do it was just through a website. Everything it's paid online. It's all sorted. We don't have to do any admin work behind it all. We literally just have to get the boxes, rip them open, pack it, ship it, and then get on to the next ones.
Yeah, and it's just so easy seeing, like, you've got the teams that the people have drawn as well on the side of the screen, and as you're going through, because you keep forgetting, you're going, what team have I got? And then you can just see it there. Yeah, so it's like for anyone there that's out there listening and they're a newbie to the hobby, this is a great way to go about it and get into it. And to Phil,
a cheap way, eh?
Yeah. 8.
Yeah. Now, I've got so many follow-up questions that I want to ask you about that, but I'll keep things moving on to the next question. You sort of briefly touched on it, and I've sort of in my travels online sort of noticed there's a bit of chat around it. Lockdown. Everything sort of really kicked off in the collectible world during lockdown, whether or not people had not a lot to do, a little bit more extra money, and they wanted to do stuff online. Did you guys really feel, I guess, get the benefit of that NBA, NFL, MLB, Pokemon, I think you mentioned before? Was that something that really blew up for you guys? Or, how did that go during that period? And then the flow on since?
Yeah. I've never worked so hard in all my life during lockdown. I was squirreling cards away. I brought all the stock home, had it in the garage. Because I think for the first lockdown, we were just getting some momentum going from Kobe passing away. Sadly, that's what it took. But a lot of interest in the hobby because people were chasing those cards and realizing, this is a genuine collectible. Something signed by Kobe Bryant, who's no longer with us. I want that. And that had really encouraged a lot of people to join the hobby. And then Zion Williamson was coming. He was going to be the next big thing, the next greatest rookie. And there was a lot of hype around him trying to chase those Zion cards. And so we were getting some momentum, some organic growth in the hobby and in our little side business that was at the time of trading cards. And so when lockdown came along, I was devastated because I thought, well, that's the end of that momentum. We're going to shut down. No one's going to have any money. The whole world's going to tip over. And it was the complete opposite. It was a great outlet for people who wanted something to do, some entertainment. They couldn't go out. They couldn't buy beers for $15 a pint. So they had a bit of extra money, and they were doing a bit of this and getting a bit of entertainment out of it as well. Because that's what we like to think. We provide a bit of entertainment, not just adding to your collection. It's a bit of a community. We get to know people. We've made some friends, and we think we bring a bit more than just a sports card to it. And lockdown was amazing, just to bring all that together and interact with people. I met some great people during lockdown.
Oh, we got to the point people were messaging us at like 10 o'clock at night saying, "Oh, do you have any boxes to open? Like, I'm keen to buy some stuff." And we're like, "Oh, hang on a minute." It's like, "Yeah, I do, but I like it's only this, and this." And like, "Yeah, I'll take it all." And it's going, okay. So then like 10:30 at night, we're just getting the cameras out or like iPhones and just set them up on the desk at home, and then we're just ripping stuff for guys like pretty much every night. Dan was just ripping through some blaster boxes that were new to the scene.
That's right, it was so.
And there was just one product was just these optic blasters back in 2019-20, the Charm Rant and Zion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were.
And so
I just about learned the pack out.
yeah, pretty much. Like people knew that if one card turned up,
I did, yeah.
these other cards were going to come out afterwards because we had opened so many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The house was just covered. I even got my wife to help me just sort these into piles. Like she was good at it by the end of it. There's just piles of cards all through the house, waiting for us to be able to ship them because we weren't allowed to ship them because they were non-essential. They were very essential to us, but that didn't seem to make a difference.
Yeah.
Oh, that must have been painful. I wasn't collecting back then, but I can imagine how, like, for me now, it's like I see these cards that you guys break, and I'm like, I can't wait to receive them. And it's like I can't imagine waiting a couple of months for them to show up.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating though. You was watching guys open boxes, and I was feeling, because sometimes you feel bad. You're selling someone a box of cards for $500, but then the same box a few weeks later was $1,000, and then it was $1,500, and then it was $2,000, and now you can't buy them for any kind of money.
Yeah.
If only you had sold nothing during that time. And
held on to it.
And
So are we talking like Spectre and 1-in-1 and that are those the type of boxes? Because I see a few of those breaks in America, and I'm like, I haven't really seen much in New Zealand. And I see how much they're worth, and I'm like, wow, just don't see them
we
anymore.
broke everything. So everything America gets, we get.
Yeah.
We don't miss out on any NBA products. We get every single one of them, which is cool.
Yep.
Is it a time of the year?
Yeah, so they will get like released sporadically through the year, like generally every second week or so. As Dan was touching on, so like boxes that we get X amount, and if it's a sought after release, we pretty much break it pretty quick and then it's gone. So we very rarely try and hold on to things because I mean, like if there's momentum there and it's filling with the breaks, we just keep doing it. You touched on Spectra. That's normally one that comes and goes pretty quick. 1-in-1 was generally another one, but there's probably about 4 or 5 releases each year, which people just want to see keep breaking, and so we'll literally just keep listing breaks till it's gone, just to ride it.
Because we're
Like
quite
NBA hoops. Yeah, loving NBA hoops at the moment.
We've got heaps of that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. We're going to open some of that today, aren't we? We're going to do it here or after. We're going to.
Awesome. This leads us into the next question here. What's the most expensive card you've drawn in a break?
I think
there's one this year. So the one of the top releases each year is it's Flawless, and so they sort of retail. You're sort of looking at $15,000-$16,000 a box, and you get 8.
Yeah, 8, 10.
I think it's 8 cards and then 2 encased cards. So you get 10 cards in total, and that's it for $16,000. And one lucky punter grabbed a team and pulled out a Cade Cunningham rookie patch autograph and ended up selling, I think it was like $30,000 or $40,000 overseas. Wow. So
within hours too.
Yeah, like
we never even shipped it to him. We shipped it to his buyer in the end.
Yeah, I mean they just chuck it on Instagram. Of course, people know people who collect certain teams and players. They get tagged in the photos, and then like you're making a sale within a few hours. So it's pretty extreme.
Amazing.
It was a cool card. It was numbered 1 of 10.
Yeah, it was a gold RPA.
Cool card.
Yeah,
so
I'd be having heart palpitations.
Yeah. And I mean, as you're touching on, like that's what people buy in the breaks for. Like they want to get that kick of waiting for their card to pop out.
Yeah, big time. That dopamine itch that we're all chasing. This is just the legal one.
Yeah, that is an advantage.
Well, you sort of briefly touched on it before, Matt. My condolences, although your team is actually quite good. I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan when it comes to football. But
I'm just watching my phone updates. I see we've scored a couple of touchdowns. So.
Not to be unexpected. So yeah, favorite NBA and NFL teams. We'll start with you, Matt, and then we'll jump over.
To be honest, I don't really have a favorite. Like I said earlier, I started when I got back into collecting. I just went through the draft list. The guys at the top always cost quite a bit of money to chase because they ended up like people see it as an investment. So I went down the list. I searched up a few guys going in the second round, and stumbled across Malcolm Brogdon. So he went to the Bucks. So they sort of became the team I followed for. I think I was there for a couple of years. Won as Rookie of the Year. Thought my value was going to go through the roof and I was going to cash in. Yet didn't. And so then after that, I became just a follower of him. And so he ended up getting traded to the Pacers. So then, of course, bought a couple of Brogdon Pacers jerseys, got them in the wardrobe at home. And then he got traded again to the Celtics. And I sort of gave up buying jerseys after that because I thought I'd soon realize he was just going to become one of those sort of journeymen. And like, I mean, he did. He's on the Blazers now, I think. So I never really had a favorite team. Growing up though as a kid, just by what was always on TV, the Hornets were a big thing when I was young. Yeah, the old Muggsy Bogues days. Yeah, they were the days I used to watch.
Starter jackets.
Yeah, starter jackets.
Barry Johnson. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, they were all Hornets balls.
yeah, it's just Hornets. I mean, that's what all they marketed back then, so no wonder. But NFL, same sort of thing. I just dived into a player. Ended up being Jalen Hurts for the Eagles when he was riding the bench behind Carson Wentz. So grabbed a whole lot of cards of his, some signed memorabilia, got a few mini helmets and that at home. And yeah, just been following the Eagles for the last, what's that, 3 years now, 3 or 4 years. And probably don't plan to stop. I want to win a Super Bowl, and like I said, hopefully I can cash in a bit better with my Hurt stuff than with my Brogdon stuff.
Yeah, well, no, they're an easy team to follow. Unlike I'm a Hornets and a Vikings fan, it's been a tough forever, basically.
Yep.
Really tough.
What about you, Dan?
What about you, Daniel?
Well, for me, I always it's interesting because when you're in a position like ours, when you're talking to a Warriors fan who's fairly passionate about the Warriors, you like the Warriors too. And it's the same for the Nets or the Bulls, whatever it is. And so I suppose my favorite team is always, I always sort of support the team with the biggest rookies, really, because that gives my customers the best return on their money. So when they're doing good, they're doing good.
Excuse me, gentlemen, I have to go. Good
Nice to meet you.
And,
Nice to meet you. Yeah, pleasure.
Good luck with what you're doing. It's bloody fantastic.
No,
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Anything we can do to help. These boys are
Likewise. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
cheers.
absolutely. Cheers, mate.
Don't ask for free break spots. We're not doing that.
No, we're chasing, man. We're hooked now. We've got the bug. So
I still missed that question, but yeah, I was going to say, whatever team is hot, providing the best return on investment for my customers is sort of my favorite team. So at the moment, the Spurs are my favorite team. I'm desperately hoping Wembanyama does well, because that's going to give the guys who bought hoops or the Prism cards, it's going to give them the best return on their money if he does really well this year. And I love to see that. Obviously, when you're selling a product like this, you want to see your customers get some return on their investment. And if Wemby goes well, which he is doing all right, then they'll get that, and I'll be thrilled about that.
It's the rest of the Spurs that are letting Wemby down at the moment, I think. Not
Wemby
himself.
No, exactly. As long as people can see through that, we'll be right.
Yeah, it's the supporting cast, because we've touched on this on a couple basketball editions. We've said there that if Wemby was playing in OKC and Chet was playing for the Spurs, I don't think we'd be seeing the same Chet, and I think we'd be seeing a next level of Wemby. And I think there that's at the moment he is the best player and a rookie at that, performing on a crap team. So I think he'll get some support. It's just going to take time. So yeah.
Absolutely, and that might keep values a little lower than they otherwise might be, which will mean people buying those Wemby cards might do even better next year. If he really excels next year, they might see them go up.
Yeah, it's like Luca. Remember when he first came into the league and you just sat on Luca with rookie cards and
they weren't expensive. They weren't expensive at all, and now they're unobtainable.
I got 12 rookies. 12 Wemby rookies.
The old Giannis days.
Oh, there's one.
Yeah, like back in the Bucks, 13 and 14, he was pretty much some like a role like bench player.
Terrible.
And done like next to nothing. And
his cards were worth nothing.
Yeah, and of course people were throwing out all of his like base rookie cards back when they were opening boxes, thinking he was just some overseas guy. And then year 3 and 4 he took off, and then everyone's scrambling to go find all of the rookie cards, and those 50-cent cards are worth $50, and so like that's what people do now. Like you go into breaks, you just hold all the rookie cards that you get.
Never sell anything for cheap,
because you don't know what a rookie's going to do in year 2 and 3, or they might get traded year 3 or 4 onto a starting team, and then next thing, you can grab it all out and start cashing in a bit.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it?
Tip.
Sitting
Hot
on,
tip.
yeah,
Yeah.
sitting on the good rookies and just waiting and
actually.
having that
Probably
patience.
something people don't realize about this hobby is it really centers around the rookies. It's all about the rookie chase.
Yeah.
It's not about the veterans. You can get them any year and they don't change, but you only get the rookie card with the RC on it for 12 months, and then they're gone forever. It feels like a long time, but now they're gone.
Yeah.
And you can't
So your tip then, essentially, to the listeners, to the viewers, if you're getting into breaks, presumably if you're not sort of a lifelong fan, we're chasing rookie cards. Well, either autos, jersey patches, and rookie cards. Would that sort of be
that'd be your main 3 chase cards?
Right.
Yeah. Definitely heavily weighing in towards the rookie cards. So we price our breaks pretty much based on the rookie values.
True.
And so if you've got for the ease of equation sort of thing, $1,000 box, the Spurs at the moment would probably be, you're looking at about $125, $140 to buy in. And so one team covers that 12, 13% of the box, but purely because if you pull the Wembanyama rookie cards, you're starting to get your money back straight away. Whereas if you buy the cheap teams who've got some rookies who could turn into something, you're only paying $15, $20 a spot.
Right.
And if you hold them 2 or 3 years, those rookies could easily turn into something like, we're seeing the 2020 rookie class now start thriving a bit. With like Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, who else is in there who's some takeoff?
Keegan Murray.
Yeah, Keegan Murray.
Ball?
Ball. So I think it's about,
yeah.
there was only maybe 2 or 3 when they came out. There's about 7 or 8 that are starters now and looking at sort of all-star potential. And so when that happens, like the 2020 box prices jump straight away.
And they have.
Yeah. And I mean, so like it all depends on the rookie classes that determines values. And like I said, if you can wait it out, buy into some rookie guys, get into it, and then maybe 2 or 3 years down the track, that's when you start seeing it all sort of paying off.
Yeah, so I've done that a few times with when a player has a good game, and then I'll go to Phil and I'll message him and be like, "Bro, I've got this." I've been buying up like as many packs as I can, like every year for years now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
you're not
it's
wrong.
great
I mean,
Yeah.
that's all it takes is a good game sometimes, and the cards can shoot up and
Yeah. I mean, the key word you were saying before, like, it doesn't have to take 2 or 3 years, like hype.
No.
It's all about hype. So if a rookie has a good 3 or 4 game stretch, straight away people will start like looking that guy up, and that's when it drives the value up. People start posting it on like the US like NBA pages, and then as soon as word of mouth gets around that people are wanting this guy, everyone else starts wanting him, and that's when if you've got his cards, you just chuck them online, and it generally sells pretty quick.
It's great. There's so many opportunities to get in and not spend a lot of money and get some great stuff and some value in a proper little investment or collection together. I think Joey Burrow's a great story because he was the hot quarterback for 2020, and people sunk a lot of money into him, and then he broke his leg and was out for the season and possibly forever, and people just dumped those cards for nothing. And just about won the Super Bowl last year. His cards are worth a lot of money now.
No, he's a good player. He's such an awful run with injury, and now you've got old Jake Browning. I love how it's another JB at the team. He's just come out of nowhere, and it's like the Bengals are competitive. It's like this wasn't supposed to happen.
So there, his cards go up in value. They were worthless in July.
Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy's probably one of the biggest stories. Mr. Irrelevant, right? He's going to win MVP. How insane is that? Do you guys have any of his sort of kit? Have you noticed any movement around him?
Big movement.
So his values skyrocketed like instantly after. It was Jimmy G, and then to Trey Lance. So his stuff kicked off very high because they thought he was their next future quarterback. And then there's just this other guy, this Brock Purdy, just sitting in the background. Of course, it takes injuries for them to actually start shining. But so the thing with his sort of rookie years, he was so down, was at the bottom of the draft. The card companies never really took too much notice of him, so not too much of his rookie stuff got made. And so,
Of course.
because he was a like last round quarterback pick, people didn't really make too much stuff of his. And then so there wasn't as much as it would normally be of like a first round quarterback. And so ever since then, not too many rookie autographs of his were lying around. But so all of his base card rookie stuff just went through the roof. And so next thing you know, everyone's finding it, they're buying it, they're sending it off to get graded. And that's when they start cashing in on their money on the Purdy train.
It's a little bit like that Jamie Jacques for the Heat. Is that, I can't know how you say his last name.
I was just doing my...
they've done nothing for him, basically,
Yeah.
right? They didn't really release much at all for him, even though he was a late teen pick.
Yeah,
He's good. He's good. Very good.
Because, yeah, I mean, Hoops, so the one that's come out now, so that's the only one out so far, the 23-24 season, is the Hoops. That generally covers off most of the rookies. So as the releases go on, they normally just focus more on like the top round, like the first round draft picks. And then a few will still get missed. But then, yeah, just got to hope that between the Hoops and the next one out, Donruss might be your next one where they try to include all the draft picks in their rookie cards.
And are they on their way?
Not officially.
No.
They will be printed soon. Yeah.
Cool.
Donruss, Prism. We should have Prism by the end of February.
Yeah, Prism will be your next big release that people go nuts for.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We'll be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll have to do another pod with you guys when the next like lot of cards come in, and then we can do like an official type of
We do
ceremony.
release pod.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
So last question there, guys. Like firstly, like thank you for having us along, because we appreciate your guys' time. So we know there that time is money these days. And I did see there that there is another break that me and Phil are involved with at some point today. So how can people find you on the internet, and Facebook, Instagram, socials, that sort of thing?
Easiest way, so we've got a website, cardcrazy.co.nz. That's where most of the stuff that's in the shop and card-wise will be listed online. So that's normally our first sort of point of call, and along the top there'll be a little banner that takes you to our Facebook page that we do all our breaks on. So it's not under Card Crazy, it's called a website called Facebook page, Triple T. So that was a page that got started years ago, and so it's called Triple T. It's Trans Tasman. So we used to be like a combined New Zealand Australia page. So way back then there was only sort of like a handful of pages that were doing trading cards and collectibles. And so we've just remained on there ever since. But yeah, that's instead of trying to like Facebook search that name, just go to our website, cardcrazy.co.nz. You'll find it on there.
Click the banner at the top.
Yeah, click the banner, that'll take you to the Facebook page. And then we'll just start accepting new people in who want to get into cards.
It's all self-explanatory once you're on that Facebook page.
Yeah.
Cheers, lads. And what we'll do is we'll share it on our socials as well. So then even more coverage there for you. So thank you very much, guys, for joining myself and young Mr. Selden.
Right.
Awesome.
We're hoping to get you guys back again. We'd love to do some NBA chat with you on Basketball Edition as well, our other podcast. And just to chat hoops and chat card values would be a good little one for you guys.
Yeah, the ups and downs of the week.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Be good. Like doing trading, like stockbrokers.
Pretty much is a physical form of trading.
Yeah.
Awesome.
With an actual currency.
That's right. Tangible asset for you to keep.
So I'll just do the wrap up, guys. So I'll just do the odd. Thank you for joining us on Where's My Sports At podcast. We're doing this all again next week, but make sure to check out the socials, but also check out Card Crazy socials and Triple T cards as well on Facebook, and get involved in the breaks. It is great fun, and not only is it a great hobby for people to get into, it's also interesting because you follow a team, follow a player, and keeps you involved with all sports. Cheers.